thank everyone for attending again. And I think most of you that are on this webinar know that we're here for kind of a cool purpose. Maybe you've been on a Verkada webinar before, maybe not, but even if you have, we're talking something a little bit different today. So we've got Rahul from Verkada. He is the product manager for Verkada's newest product, which is called Verkada Guest. It's a visitor management solution, and I'll let them dive into that a little bit later. But it's an exciting time. We're really lucky to have Rahul here. He is the product manager at Verkada for it, so we're lucky to have a good partnership with Verkada where we can bring in such high quality individuals who can speak to the products that could help us in our organizations be more physically secure in this instance. So we'll dive into that in a second. Before we do, just want to give a quick introduction to Pine Cove. If you don't know or want a refresher, we were founded in 1993, so we've been in business quite a long period of time, and you can kind of see our client map there is the area we operate. We've got a few customers outside of that map in the Midwest and a few other places as well, but this is kind of our bread and butter region. So we support users across kind of the Rocky Mountain region. We sell a lot of different products, which you can see, cybersecurity and networking and physical security, what we're here to talk about today. And then we have some services on top of that. So we've really grown quite a bit, but we also have stuck to our roots. A lot of the customers we worked with in the early 90s are still customers of ours today, which is pretty cool. So we owe a lot to the people that we work with, and Verkada is a great company, and our relationship with Verkada is fairly new. We partnered with them in 2019 to sell security cameras and access control and now visitor management. So our relationship with them has been great, and we look forward to continuing to partner with them and share their new products like we're going to do today. So with that, I'll just remind everyone, please feel free to fire any questions off at any time. I'll field them and make sure that they get answered. We'd love to have interaction here today. And I will go ahead and give Chase from Verkada presenter roles and let him take over from here and introduce a little bit more about what we're going to talk about.
Chase, I think you're muted.
There we go. Just figuring it out here. Awesome. Thanks again, Rahul. Thanks, Chase, for that introduction. Really appreciate that. I mean, I've working here in Montana and Wyoming with Pine Cove now for just over a year. Representatives before that, we love working with Pine Cove. I mean, they have excellent install, excellent service, and thanks again for that introduction. So, getting to jump right in here, for some of you that may have already known about kind of what Verkada does, we're actually one of the fastest growing physical security companies here in the United States and the world. We're based in San Mateo, but we just opened up offices in Salt Lake City, Utah, as well as London, Sydney, and Austin, Texas. We are invested in by Meritech, Sequoia, and Siemens, raising a Series C upwards of 2 years ago here. Still just actually graduating from that startup status with about 5 years in total sales. Now, our goal originally was to create that smart building. So what we wanted to do was rebuild hybrid cloud architecture from the beginning. Just to give a really quick snapshot with our cameras in the doors, they don't require any servers. Same goes for our Verkada Guest, which we're focusing on today. Every camera and door controller that we build has its own solid-state storage drive physically within the unit. And the cameras are going to be recording 24/7 at 24 frames per second in full HD for that 30-day period. And even you can go beyond that to 6 months, even a year. And again, the cameras work incredibly well with Verkada Guest in regards to lobby management. We do have people analytic features that allow you to even track where your guests are going throughout your campuses, especially as you're looking at indoor versus outdoor cameras, and it's making sure that guests don't have access to the wrong doors or even the wrong areas. Now, it's easy to scale because of the lack of servers. All we require is Cat 5 or 6 cabling on those cameras or doors. And Verkada Guest, all that's required here is an iPad. So very simple here. We're also able to trial out iPads and Bluetooth Air printers for you to be able to even print out badges and even check people in contactless through our QR code. Everything we do, however, is bandwidth friendly with cameras operating around 20 to 100 kilobits. And Verkada Guest, same thing. It's going to be very low level internet usage there on that iPad. We obviously recommend Wi-Fi in the first place. It's just a web browser and a mobile app. And then centralized management. So you can even look at Verkada Guest if you're on vacation in Mexico, look at your cameras, look at your doors, open up a door remotely, or even be able to check in a guest remotely without even a receptionist necessarily being there. You can do that from our mobile app or as well from that iPad, which has its own Verkada mobile app on it as well, with US-based tech support. Everything we offer outside of that iPad is going to be on a 10-year product warranty there, included on the software if there are any problems or issues, camera-wise, door-wise, or of course for Verkada Guests. So really looking at the big picture here, we started with cameras about 4 years ago, jumped into access control 2 years ago, having since sold about 15 million worth in less than 2 years, really breaking into the market quickly because of that plug-and-play solution, very easily set up for even wireless locks, and of course the ability to get that remote support on your locks. Finally, we have environmental sensors for vape detection, which unfortunately has not been great for schools, especially in my area in Montana and Wyoming. But those obviously can get placed in bathrooms. And then finally, alarms for professional monitoring, and of course, guest, which is visitor management for that seamless check-in experience, whether it is contactless, whether you need them to sign obviously a waiver about COVID, or even do background checks as early as January here. So what I want to do, toss it over to Raul, who's going to give a very basic demo after a couple more slides, and then we'll take questions from there. But thanks for having me, Jace.
Awesome. Is it possible to get screen sharing? Awesome. Let me show my screen. Hopefully you guys can see that. And great, let's get into it. So thank you, Chase, for that background. My name is Rahul Ramakrishnan. I'm product manager here at Verkada, specifically for Verkada Guest. And today I'm super happy to be able to talk you through what we're doing with Verkada Guest, what the experiences we're delivering, show a few slides on that. And then the bulk of it will be the demo. And then after that, we can go into how you actually purchase Verkada Guest. And I want to open it up for questions at the end as well. So stay tuned and we'll get right into it. So first and foremost, why did we even want to build visitor management? When we were looking at our own customers as well as the market as a whole, we saw a couple things. First and foremost, visitor management, its purpose is to be able to keep a log of visitors that are coming into your facilities, into your school campuses. And we want to make sure that by doing so, it's not just a log, that there's additional security around it that can allow you to troubleshoot and figure out when security events are happening, act on those, and do those all within your visitor management platform, which I'll show you what that looks like. Two is we saw that the existing technologies there are very unintuitive and hard to set up. They take days to set up, and with Verkada Guest, we wanted to make sure that it was as easy as possible. And then third is, they don't really provide visibility or allow you to scale in a way that Verkada Guest does allow you to do, in the sense of, let's say you're a campus that has multiple schools, you're a school district with various schools around, or just different facilities around. How would you actually be able to just plop an iPad in and deploy your visitor management in just a few simple clicks? Something that we just weren't able to see with the existing solutions out there. And our customers were asking the same things, right? Like, as we were talking to our customers about the other Verkada products, they were asking us, like, hey, I'm looking at visitor management and the things out there existing are too hard to use, don't fit in my environment, and aren't a good experience for my visitors either. And that's when we were like, hey, you know what? We are going to tackle this space and build our own visitor management. And that's where Verkada Guest comes into play. And so if you look at the way we thought about Verkada Guest, there's 3 different user types for a visitor management system, right? The first one is your visitor themselves, making sure that the visitor that comes in has a seamless and easy to use check-in experience where a host gets notified and a host can come get the visitor. 2 is the receptionist, the person actually sitting at the front desk of the school, of the facility, that's checking people in, making sure that he or she has the easiest and most powerful way to actually manage visitors and see what's going on. And then lastly is on the admin side, the admin that's actually setting up the visitor management system. How do we make that scale, make it as easy as possible to deploy? And that's where we focused on with Verkada Guest. So I'll show you quickly what that looks like. First and foremost is on the visitor side of things, making sure that the visitor coming in has a simple and personalized check-in experience. As we were mentioning, this is an iPad-based system, so a visitor comes in to the lobby, signs in a guided fashion on the iPad that guides them through different steps. QR code is available for visitors that want to use their mobile phone and have a touchless check-in experience. And then a host can get notified when a visitor is coming in, so that host can come in and pick me up and greet the visitor as they're going through the facility. So really making sure that the guest experience is quick, simple, and seamless. Next is on the actual receptionist dashboard, the receptionist or admin or front desk person that is sitting at the desk, making sure that their view of the visitor log is simple but powerful. So now within Command, you have a unified view of not only your cameras, your access control, but now your visitor management. It's quick and easy to use. It integrates seamlessly with your cameras, with your access control as well. And there's live monitoring, right? You're able to actually see when visitors are coming in and be able to click into a visitor to see more information about the visitor. And with the camera integration, actually be able to track where visitors have gone across your campus or your facility. And I will definitely touch upon that in the demo. And then last is the scaled configuration, right? Making sure that the admin that's setting the system up and doing everything from role-based permission to custom branding on the iPad to different visitor types to the analytics dashboard, making sure that all of this is simple, seamless, and easy to use, and making sure that it's the best system out there for an admin setting it up. And so with that, there's a lot of key features that we have here. I'm not going to go through and talk about every one, but as you're reading this, we wanted to make sure that with Verkada Guest, especially, it's a new product, it launched 4 weeks ago, that as we deliver that initial base and develop on it more and more, that we are addressing the use cases for schools, for various other customer types that we have, but doing so, again, in a simple and easy to use and scalable manner. And so with that, I'll actually jump into Command and show you what the demo looks like. So let me go into Command real fast. So this is Command, and as you can see, you have your cameras and you have the different tabs on top here for access, sensors, alarms, but now there's this new Guest tab. And when you click Guest, you get plopped right into the visitor log. And so at its base, visitor management is all about being able to get a clear log of who came and visited your school, your campus, your facility in a day-by-day basis. And so as you can see, I can scroll down here, look at the table of all the visitors that have come in. I can go back day by day and see all the visitors that have come in each day. And if I need to do any reporting, I can actually click this export button here and make sure that I get a CSV download of all of the visitors that came in case I need to do any extra analysis or reporting based on the visitors that came in. As you can see, there's also a camera and access control integration. With the cameras, you're able to add live cameras to your dashboard. You can imagine putting the cameras or adding the cameras that are in your lobby and facing outside the lobby so that you're able to see where visitors are coming in and out. But not only that, I can actually, if you have Verkada Access Control, add the access doors to Verkada Guest so that now I can remotely unlock the door when I see a visitor coming in on the cameras and be able to unlock the door for them by just sitting at my desk, or if I'm remote in a meeting and need to have a visitor be let in, I can do that right from the guest dashboard as well. But one thing to note about the camera integration is that we're able to do something even cooler. So if I click into a specific visitor here, so Ashwini, she's another product manager on the team, I get to see a couple things. First and foremost is, okay, when did she sign in and when did she sign out? What day, time, her contact information, who she was here to see, documents that she signed. But with the camera integration, I'm actually able to get a clip of when she was actually signing in on the iPad so I can see when she actually checked in. But not only that, I'm also able to leverage the people analytics of the cameras, if that's a feature that you have turned on to build a timeline of when the visitor was actually coming around the campus. So, for security purposes, for COVID contact tracing, or for any other reason, I'm able to now see where did this visitor actually go, and it makes my job as a security officer at a school much easier to make sure I know where visitors are going around on my campus or on my facility or anything like that. So, that's the visitor log, and this experience is very powerful for the receptionist. Customers that are using Verkada Guest today love this view, basically because they get so much information about who their visitors are, but then with the integrations, they're able to get even more power by leveraging their existing Verkada cameras and access control. So now I'll touch upon what it looks like to actually set this thing up, and it's super simple. So first of all, you're able to create different, you're able to have global settings for your visitor management. First and foremost is changing things like the company name, branding the iPad. So here is where I can upload an image and upload colors that reflect on the iPad to make it your own experience. So let's say the customer's FedEx, they can upload a FedEx logo here, turn on, choose the purple and orange colors that they have here, and then the iPad itself would show FedEx, would have purple and orange, and really make it that custom branded experience. Here's is where I can actually set up new sites and change the settings for those sites, which I'll jump into shortly. Here's where you're able to upload hosts. So if you are having hosts be part of the system, or you want people to get notified when a visitor comes in to meet them, you can either upload a host via CSV file, or you can sync with an identity provider like Okta, Microsoft Azure AD, etc., so that the hosts are actually all there. And then here's where you can granularly configure users and their permissions. So, for example, admins would have the ability to change all these settings. Site managers can choose and change settings for certain sites, and then site viewers can just read only, right? Only see the dashboard and not make any changes. So it makes it very easy to have your receptionist perhaps just be a site viewer, but your IT person or your facilities person be a site manager or admin, so that they can make changes. So very simple and easy to add permissions. And if we go directly into the actual sites, you're able to create even more customized settings here. So you're able to do per site customized branding. Here's where you turn on the QR code for that contactless check-in. And then here's where you're actually able to configure your guest types. So, you may have a parent be a guest type, you may just have a delivery person or a contractor or an interviewer, something like that. You're able to set up the different guest types, which will reflect on the iPad, so that when a visitor comes to the iPad, they're able to choose that. And you're able to customize what flow you want those visitors to go through. Do you want them to put their name and email only? Do you want them to sign documents? Do you want them to take a photo or not? All of these options are all customizable per visitor type. So all of that is easy to set up here. We have this concept of a default host in the case someone should get notified if a person doesn't know who they're here to visit, maybe the receptionist or someone else. And then adding the actual devices is very easy. So as Chase was mentioning earlier, Verkada Guest only requires an iPad to work. And to have the iPad work, all you have to do is get an iPad, download the app. And when you download the app, a code is presented when you open the app. And that 6-digit code you just put here in that field, and then boom, it's automatically connected, and you're able to see it reflected here in the device status page. And the same is true for printers. We do pair with label printers, so a sticker gets printed out, you're able to put it on the visitor, and so you can clearly delineate who's a visitor or not. And we do pair with AirPrint compatible badge printers. Our recommended one is a Brother printer, which is on our website in terms of which one we recommend. And it's very quick and easy to pair to the label printer and have printers, that actually have stickers printed out. And then lastly is documents. So, you're able to customize and create different types of documents, whether you have an NDA, in case you want to have people sign that they're, whatever they need to sign. We even just introduced this week a COVID questionnaire. So you're actually able to have people answer yes or no questions to Have you had COVID? Have you been in close contact with someone with COVID? And flag what is the right or wrong answer. So obviously, if anyone says yes to any of these questions, that's probably not good, and you want someone to be notified. So if someone goes on the iPad and actually answers it incorrectly, you're able to then configure what that entry denied message is, notify who needs to be notified, either the host or someone else, that a visitor came in that answered those questions wrong, and making it very quick and easy to set all of that up. And yeah, that's all that's required to actually set up Verkada Guest. So just an iPad, a badge printer, and then boom, you're good to go. And so very quick and easy setup. And we wanted to make sure that that this was seamless for all of our customers. And the last thing I want to do here is actually get you involved in the demo here itself. Unfortunately, I can't give you guys an iPad through this webinar to actually experience the sign-in. But what we can do is we can leverage the tablet preview. So this is a preview of what the tablet actually looks like in our lobby. And this QR code is a live working QR code. So if you can, I invite you to pull out your smartphone and actually scan this QR code that you see here on your screen. It'll take you through the mobile web check-in flow, and feel free to choose any of the visitor types that you want to try and go through. It'll ask you for name, email, take a photo, things like that. If you get to the host screen, feel free to type my name in. Just type in RAHUL, and there'll be a drop down, and you'll see Rahul Ramakrishnan. You can just click my name as a host and go through the flow. And you can see exactly what the flow would look like for someone using their mobile phone. So, I'll leave this QR code up here for the next few seconds or so if you want to actually go through this flow. But, it's really awesome that we're able to share this experience with you through the webinar. And you get to get a little bit of an idea of what it looks like to actually, sign in through a mobile phone. So this is exactly what it would look like. And it looks like Jace, you actually did it right now. So Jace just went through the flow. Here's his photo. He clicked the employee type reason, and here he is in the log. He just did it right now, and it's here reflected already. So super cool to see, and hopefully some of you guys on the webinar are trying it out as well. And so with that, I will actually go back to the slides right now. We can continue from there. All right, so let's continue on and talk about customers that are actually using this right now. So one of them is the University of Arkansas. They've been using this for a while in one of their lobbies. And the reason they were even evaluating us is for a few things. First and foremost, their existing visitor tool didn't integrate with their security camera system at all, making it really painful for them to, they see a visitor that they need to do more security on and then go to a different security system. And that security camera system is Verkada, but their visitor tool wasn't tied into Verkada, so they got to use their visitor tool and then go to command and try and figure out where this visitor is. Wasn't seamless. They had different services for creating badges, the visitor management, and then assigning access, which was a huge burden. And then they just spent too much time actually setting up the tool. As I was mentioning earlier, these existing tools are very, very hard to set up. And then when they switched over to Verkada Guest, they got a couple of key benefits. First and foremost, they had everything under one single pane of glass, including their access control, their guest, and their cameras. That visibility they got with the guest dashboard really helped them be able to troubleshoot and centralize all of their visitor types, especially when it comes to security. We actually had large group check-ins that were streamlined with the QR code. So you can imagine if 10 people come into your lobby at the same time, you don't want them standing in a line waiting to go into the iPad. They're all able to pull out their phone and scan the QR code and use the check-in that way. And they were able to have 10 people check in at once and really streamline that process there. And again, it was just very easy to set up for them. So super happy that University of Arkansas is having a great time with that. And then the next customer is actually a school in San Francisco called Mission Dolores Academy. Some of their challenges were they just had a very inefficient process to actually welcome visitors and volunteers. You know, when I went over there for the first time, they actually didn't really even have a visitor management system. They just came in and asked me to write my name on a piece of paper, but they lost that piece of paper. They put it in a binder and they lose the binder. And so it was really inefficient in that sense. They lost staff time waiting for visitors to arrive at a scheduled time. And it was just difficult to keep this reliable and precise record. And you know, they really wanted to move away from their paper-based system. And so when they did do that, they were able to save time with Verkada Guest by having the automated check-in process. They were able to search by visitor type and track exactly what type of visitors were coming in if they needed to do that. And they just were able to create this custom branded experience. They really enjoyed the ability to have the Mission Dolores logo show up on the iPad, to customize the iPad with their colors, and have it be a very welcome experience for visitors coming in. So that was great for us to see with them. And so, you know, a couple quotes here with Mission Dolores. You know, they said, with Guest, we've created a safer environment for our teachers and students. We've eliminated all of our paper logbooks, streamlined staff, and centralized data collection and visibility. And that's Meredith over there. And Diana at the University of Arkansas said, you know, Guest is awesome and so easy to use. Our visitors and employees are loving it. And this new solution integrating to Verkada Command is just what we needed. And so, you know, it's awesome to see that these schools were able to get good benefit out of Verkada Guest. And, you know, as I was mentioning earlier, we launched 4 weeks ago. Me and our engineering team are very excited to keep developing, keep introducing more and more capabilities to Verkada Guest. And a couple of the ones that are coming in the near term are things like invited guests, so be able to invite groups of people ahead of time, have them fill out the information at home on their phone, and then have a, you know, confirmation QR code that they're able to present to the lobby or to the iPad in the lobby when they arrive for a one-touch check-in. Things like deny lists, if you have, you know, people that aren't supposed to be coming to your school to pick students up, or in general, if you have anyone that you want to get notified on that isn't supposed to be there, having to have this deny list be able to you know, actually work through that. This concept of guest and host two-way messaging. Let's say I come to the school, I'm here to visit a teacher. How do I actually communicate with that teacher, because I don't know where I am, I don't know what classroom to go to. You know, we can actually message each other back and forth to help there. ID capture and by extension background checks is something that we're working on right now as well, which is, you know, the ability for the iPad to dictate, hey, we need to scan your driver's license so that we can run a background check, being able to go through that flow and make sure that you know, visitors coming in aren't on a Megan's list or anything like that. And then lastly is integrations, right? Really making sure that visitor management ties into different systems where this could be useful. You can imagine the school use case integrating with various student information systems for roll call, check-in, check-out, these sort of things. And, you know, as well as other systems like HR systems, messaging systems, et cetera, so that it becomes a lot more flexible. These are our areas of focus in the very near term. And so let's get to pricing. So how do we price this? Verkada Guest is priced at $300 per iPad per month, but on an annual basis. And so, you know, a 1 year in that example is $3,600. And this is the list price, so please keep that in mind. And the way that we've seen this is, you know, when you're looking at Verkada Guest as well as compared to other players in the market, based on the features that they deliver and capabilities they deliver and where we're at now, we're actually providing more value at a similar price. So a lot of the other competitors out there are priced in a very similar manner, and we wanted to deliver more value and do that at a list price that made sense. And obviously, you know, working with you guys as existing customers or new customers, we can obviously work with you there, but really making sure that you know, we're delivering the right amount of value. The product itself runs on an iPad and a badge printer. The badge printer is optional, but if you want to print labels or stickers for visitors to wear, obviously you need a badge printer. You can provide your own, so you can bring your own iPad and download the app and get started. very simple, and bring your own badge printer if you have that. We are also stocking our own iPads, badge printers, and iPad stands, if that's something that you need, at Verkada. So you're able to actually purchase those from us as well, if that's something that you need. So we just wanted to be flexible there. You can bring your own devices, or if you are having trouble procuring devices, you can purchase them through us as well. And you know, we make it super simple in that sense. And from a trial perspective, you're able to trial this today. If you're an existing Command customer and an organization admin, you're able to see the guest tab on top. It'll say guest new, you click guest, and it'll come to the free trial page, and you're able to initiate your free trial right there. And it'll walk you through how to download the app, add the iPad to your Command, and then get started with the setup right there. If you're new to Verkada, you're also able to trial Verkada Guest. Just create a Command organization, and you're able to activate a free trial right from Command, even if you don't have any of the other Verkada devices. So really wanted to make it very easy to start a free trial of Verkada Guest. And yeah, that's from my standpoint, that's all I had with my presentation. So, you know, I definitely want to make sure that there's ample time to answer any questions or anything like that. And, you know, Chase and Jace, if you have anything else to add, feel free to, but, you know, happy to take any questions.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, get those submitted, and we can get those answered right now. Or if you're looking for a more, you know, if you'd like a personalized rundown or a one-on-one rundown, you can also reach out to sales@pinecc.com. So that's another option there. Had our first question come in here. Does the system check the sex offender registry?
Yeah, so when I was talking about the ID capture and background check, it is to check the sex offender registry. This is a feature that we're working on right now, and is actually coming in beta very soon. You know, we're actually pushing for a beta by the end of next week. And so, you know, the ability for a visitor to come in, scan their ID card, and we check that information against a sex offender database and return if there's any potential matches, and you know, have the receptionist confirm or you know, skip across any confirmed matches and go from there, and obviously have that in the log. So this is something that we're working on, you know, excited to introduce for the purposes of schools, keeping our kids safe, and yeah, making sure that we're introducing that shortly. So that is the plan there.
Great. Chase, did you have anything else you wanted to add? And we can give people a few more minutes to get any questions they have in.
I mean, the only thing I would say is that, you know, if you're currently with Pine Cove or Verkada, you know, in any capacity, we're going to match that same discount that you have in regards to Rahul's MSRP pricing. So if you're really looking at it like, okay, $300 a month, and you're already at a 20% discount, let's say, which I would say is about the average for schools, maybe a bit higher, a couple points higher. But long story short there is that, you know, then at that point, 20% off, you're looking at $240, $200 a month. And with all these additional features that are going into beta as early as next week, you know, that's something where we want to work with you on what your needs are. And a lot of our developments are coming from the customers. They're the ones saying, hey, here's what we're doing, here's what we're seeing, here's what we want. And because it is really our first software only product, you know, Rahul and the team are really working quickly on this, to where 2 weeks ago we heard about all this, and now there's a beta next week, you know, the week of Christmas and New Year's. So, you know, if this is what's happening in December, I'm excited for January and February. And, you know, thanks to Rahul for building an incredible product. And he'd already worked on our viewing stations and specifically the software therein too. So, you know, we really see quick developments there at Verkada, and we're excited about that. So that's pretty much all I had to add, Jace.
Great. Okay. Seeing no more questions, I'll just once again say the recording will be sent out 24 hours from right about now. And if you do have questions, you can reach out to sales@pinecc.com. You can also reply to that email, and that comes directly to me, and I can get you in touch with whoever can help you answer that question as well. So a lot of ways to reach out if you're interested in learning a little bit more. Thanks again, Rahul. This was great content. Really appreciate your time. I know you're probably extremely busy with the release of the new product, and always appreciate hearing from you too, Chase. So thanks for your time, and thanks everyone for attending, and we hope to hear you, see you on another webinar in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much.